From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, may I interest you in a Friday podcast? Tour of Duty 2025 in the books. We get the recap from Josh Storms and the transfer class, reflecting on the Leonard Hamilton era as his home finale nears, and baseball's trajectory headed into the final non-conference weekend series. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Sip the juice, everybody. Sip that Focus Plus. Sip that new fruit punch flavor. Just got some fresh vitamin energy in the mail, y'all. Feeling good, Corey. I'm focused. Think my mood's improved. Put me in that 14-day clinical trial next time it happens. I will reaffirm all the findings from the previous clinical study. It's clinically proven, everybody, to improve your focus, your energy levels, everything. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Sip the juice. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. 5-star rating, review, subscribe. Check out the awesome rundown Corey knocked out after the press conference on Friday or Thursday, rather, with Josh Storms, the last of the newcomers, Gunnar Hansen and Jayson Jenkins. Sure, sit through the videos, watch them on YouTube, but Corey distills it down to all the things you need to know, and he distills everything down in the world that we need to know on this podcast every time we gather for one. Corey Clark, how are you, friend?
I'm good, buddy. I didn't get to do my normal transparency, my normal transcription on Thursday because of the stream being down. So that was left to Matt. But yeah, Matt Lasser, the up-and-coming Matt Lasser.
Intrepid Matt Lasser.
Yeah. So yeah, but I got to write about Storms afterwards, and then watch the Hansen and Jenkins videos as well.
Yeah, if I could show and use some transparency real quick. So there's a microphone at the podium. It's run all the way across the room into this box, which then everybody's able to kind of tap into and get audio. Well, it didn't work on Thursday, and their live stream didn't work either. So there was some scrambling going on, and I didn't realize the audio wasn't working until Josh Storms was about 5 words into his opening statement or whatever. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I turned on the internal microphone on the camera. It's not the one that directly goes into that box that all the audio is being fed into. I'm like, I'll just pick it up on the external microphone. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea. That wasn't a good idea either. So like I ran to where Corey usually sits, and then I filmed it on my iPhone, holding it up for like 13 minutes, shaking and trembling. But we got it done, everybody, because we love you. And then for Hansen and Jenkins, I literally ran 50 feet of cable myself from my camera all the way to the podium and set up a microphone stand so the audio is a little bit better. All that to say, Corey, I was panicked for like the first 20 minutes. I really didn't get to hear a lot of what Josh Storms said. What were the bigger takeaways, do you think, from what he revealed on Thursday?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I thought the two best questions of the whole session, maybe it's because Ira and I weren't there, obviously, but was that the questions you asked him. I thought you asked him about Castellanos, right?
Right.
That was a fine one. But then you asked him about, like, in a polite way, you asked him, like, essentially I thought the question was, when you go 2-10, do you look for other stuff to do for your off-season conditioning drills? Like, do you look to add something new?
Correct. That's what I was going for.
Drills when you just went 2-10 and were pushed around for basically the whole season. And his answer didn't really say anything to that at all. Didn't really answer it at all. Other than to say, like, you know, right now it's about bigger, faster, stronger. They get more specific movements with the players after spring practice. From like December to March, it's all about bigger, faster, stronger. And then after March, going into the summer, they start specifying the position group movements and whatever. It's all, you know, physical stuff, guys. I don't want to bore you with all the details that me and Aslan live our lives by now. It'd bore you. But yeah, I thought that was a good question. I was hoping he'd have a better answer, quite honestly, but I still used it in my story.
Thanks,
and
man.
then the one about Norvell at the end, because I thought at the end, and this is what the point I made in the story I wrote, was you asked Storms about Norvell and if he had been anything different, and I really kind of thought he answered you for him about himself when he was talking about you still have to have confidence in what you do and who you are and what you do. Yeah, do you question things? Sure, but I thought that was a really telling answer because there's no way, as confident as Josh Storms is and where he's gotten into his career, he's the strength coach, you guys. I don't know if Aslan mentioned that. The strength and conditioning coach for Florida State. He's been with Norvell in one form or another since, I think he said 2012.
Yeah.
So they've kind of grown up in the college football system together. There's no way you can not only just go through 2-10. Obviously, there's a crisis of confidence that comes with every coach on that team and every player on that team. What about the guy that's in charge of getting that team strong and fast and physical, and then you saw that product in the fall? Well, there's zero chance you can't question your methods. You have to. And I thought the way he answered that just about you still have to believe in what you do and hope that, different player, he didn't say this. I'm paraphrasing for him. Every team is different players, different skill sets, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that he was talking about Norvell and, does Norvell seem different was kind of the gist of the question that Aslan asked after 2-10. And he's like, well, no, you got to kind of be true to who you are. And the confidence that you built up or the confidence you have, you've got to be who you are and stay who you are while always trying to get better. And I just thought that was telling because, man, everybody on that staff deserves criticism for last year. Josh Storms among them. That team was not tough. It was not physical. It was not strong. It got pushed around in just about every game it played. So let's hope any changes they make, whether they want to give us the secret sauce or not, that's fine. Let's hope the changes they make are good ones because they need to be.
How about using the word masterclass when asked about Tommy and just kind of how he's led the team here in his first 2.5 months, 3 months of being on campus? That was strong, I felt like.
Yeah, he called him, I think he said phenomenal, like the way he came in. He said that, it's kind of goes back to what I've been saying since we started hearing people talk about him. I get it. If he's not a good quarterback, it doesn't matter. I get it. J.J. Cosentino might have had a master class in relationships too. If you can't play the position at a high level, it does not matter. And I know you guys want to roll your eyes at it, but man, if you can play pretty well, it matters a lot. And I think that they need this, man. This team desperately needed somebody like Tommy Castellanos and somebody that just wants to be the leader, is vocal, is out there. He's trying to build relationships with everyone. That's what Storm said on Thursday. He said that he's been phenomenal since the recruiting trip. That once he committed, then he started trying to recruit other people to come join him. And then he said he had a goal. I can't imagine he reached it, but he had a goal either inside the building or outside the building of having a one-on-one time with every player on the roster. That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but it's a little nutty, and I can guarantee you there's probably 10% of the team that's like, man, I'm a defensive tackle. We don't need to be buddies. You don't need to go get chicken fingers for me. I'm fine. But to the people that it matters to, the people that don't care about it, that it doesn't affect them one way or the other, it's nothing. It does not affect them one way or the other. They just, all right, okay, that's just Tommy being Tommy, and they go on with their lives. That's a certain percentage of people, just like a certain percentage of people listening to this would feel that way if somebody was like that in their office. But there are a lot of people that are galvanized by that and really are drawn to a personality like that. And for those people, that's invaluable, man, to have a guy like that I assume it's genuine. Maybe it's not. It almost doesn't matter. That they think genuinely cares about being friends with them or being teammates with them. It isn't just here for a paycheck in 6 months of football. Like, I think that stuff matters, and I think it definitely matters to Tommy because he's made a point of it, of being that leader, and that's what Storms was talking about, that it matters to him to want to have relationships as a newcomer, a guy that got here in January, to be one of the vocal leaders and because he's the face of the offense. Maybe he's going to be the face of the program if he has a good season, but he seems to be relishing what a quarterback's job is. And that's good to hear because the guy last year, while nothing was really his fault on the field or off for that matter, he just wasn't that type of personality. And going from that small sample size, I think I'd rather have the big personality at quarterback than the stoic one.
Absolutely. By the way, spring football starts Wednesday, March 19th. Put that on your calendars. boys and girls. We got to speak to the last two newcomers, Gunnar Hansen and Jayson Jenkins. We were supposed to get them earlier, but scheduling conflicts arose and we weren't able to get them. I just want Gunnar Hansen to know that I'm out here looking out for you already, young buck. I thought it was really interesting the way he kind of talked about the joy, the confidence that he and his teammates at Vanderbilt had going into the Alabama game, and just how satisfying it was to beat Bama the way they did. And then to spin it forward, I kind of asked him I'm sure like the first day these guys report, there's that, there's like that opening scene in Hard Knocks seemingly every season where it's like, it's the big auditorium, it's the entire team, it's the coach, and like laying out the vision, and asking him about, like, was there any kind of moment, whether it was in that large auditorium day one, or either when it's just the O-line or the offense with Gus, and what that kind of the vision is for the offense this year. And I think we accidentally misquote him as saying, we're going to be the best offense in college football. He then said, that's the mission, which that was pretty much my question. I think we left off, that's the mission. There's some internet pushback on that, but I think even when we clarified the quote, there were still people putting on their bookmarks trying to bring it back to Florida State fans after the season. So we'll see who's going to get the last laugh on that, Corey. But we heard Mike talk about Gus having the best offenses in college football when they were together in Tulsa. And I think we even heard Gus say that that's kind of his focus, and make this the best offense it can possibly be. Feels like the way that Gunnar Hansen said those words, like there's a belief that they can maybe not get there exactly, but they're going to pursue it and then hopefully get close enough, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah. You reach for the stars, you might settle on, what is it? Whatever that's saying.
Shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
Shoot for the stars, you can still reach the sky, or if it's not a saying, it should be. Something like that.
I think Willie Taggart once said, chase perfection and you'll find greatness. Or was that Jimbo?
I mean, who can tell them apart?
That's true.
I think that when it comes like the stuff that I was just saying about Tommy, I really do believe, like, I think that all that stuff matters, that leadership matters, his personality. Words from an offensive lineman that's been here 6 weeks, I don't put much. But it's also like, of course the goal is to want to be the best offense in the country. That's the mission. Is it going to happen? Almost certainly not. Almost zero chance. Well,
in that regard, though, he's like a 5th, 6th-year guy. He probably realizes how tough that is, and like, why leave yourself open to like criticism and lobs and
he's at Vanderbilt. He's used to people not caring what he says. No offense, but he is. So now, he got the brunt of that. But also, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the mission is to be the best offense in college football. It should be. But I just remember, I just harkened back to James Blackman always saying, I think we're the best team in the country. Yeah. And it's like, man, it's just words. It's hollow. Yeah. It's what you're supposed to say. It's what the mission is. But let's talk to him after the spring, and let's talk to him in the middle of the season and see what he says there, what he says then. But I do, man, again, just like the other offensive linemen that they brought in that we've gotten to talk to, man, that's a guy that can play for me. He's mature. He's been around for a bunch of minutes. He is not going to be overwhelmed by this competition, at least. I mean, like you just talked about, they beat Alabama last year and put up 40-something points, and he's starting with Alabama again. So he's not going to be overwhelmed by that uniform. He's not going to be scared away by that uniform. Nobody that ever plays a snap for Florida State football should be scared by any other uniform across the line of scrimmage from him. But I like the maturity and the experience that's been added up front. Don't know if he's going to be awesome. He doesn't have to be awesome. But it's those personalities, man. It's those kind of I don't like saying the word maturity over and over again, but it matters, and it's important in having guys like that on your run, especially somebody at Vanderbilt who has gone through some lows now, but has bounced back and knows what it's like to win big games. Man, let's be honest. How many guys currently on this Florida State football team have won as many big games as the transfer from Vanderbilt?
Really had an impact on those games, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, well said. Yeah, Shaheem, that's about it, right? Darrell Jackson hasn't. No. Darrell Jackson's good, but he hasn't. So the holdovers that are still here, they don't have that kind of experience. They really, the ones that have played a lot on this particular team for this school, have experienced a whole bunch of failure. So it's nice to have even a guy, I know that's sad to say, a transfer from Vanderbilt can show them how to win, but we're being realistic, man. You just went 2-10. Yeah. And this guy came in and beat Alabama. I don't remember if Ole Miss beat Alabama last year, but you have another lineman that won 9 games in the SEC. You have another lineman that played at UCF when they won 9 games. So you have guys that are used to winning, and I just think could be adults in the room. They can be adults. Hopefully they can take the young guys under their wing. But even if they don't, they're mature enough and have enough experience and enough different schemes and situations that they can hopefully, band together to be a good fivesome.
Yeah.
That can overcome any, they should not be surprised by anything they see on a football field, because theoretically they've seen it all when they've had a combined, 20 years of experience.
And then Jayson Jenkins, very physically impressive young man, kind of looks like a Calais Campbell Jr. almost to me, really tall, really well put together. And I guess the tricky thing with him was I saw it on Warchant like the other week. There was a thread about his availability, and there was rumblings about him possibly having sustained an injury that's going to jeopardize his spring. I think apparently afterwards I found out here after asking the question about not believing everything you read on the internet, apparently one of the other outlets might have reported he did sustain an injury that's going to affect his availability. But
is that how you ask the question?
Well, I'm just like, I'm like, I'm not one to believe everything I read on the internet, but
okay.
So and I like the guys from the website.
I get. Now there's a little more context to what, and we won't get into any of that. But now there's a little more context because it can sound like you're challenging it,
right?
When in reality, we've heard about it for. We've heard that there might be something there. Let's just say for weeks,
right?
And what was surprising to me, if there is an injury concern, which there is, he admitted as much, right?
Yeah, he's like he pretty much said that spring's not going to be on the table. He hopes to get back by fall to be ready to go. But
the fact that he was available to talk to is not normal. Usually, so the fact that he talked and it's not like nobody said, hey, don't ask him anything about an injury. So it's like, yeah, well, it's fair game. Let's ask him about the injury, and you did. And he didn't say I'm out for the season, which he could have if he is. Right. I don't know what he'd get out of not saying that. If he's done, if they told him, yeah, this time next year is when you'll be back, why not say that? But he did say that he's out for the spring, because I guess there's I don't know what the downside is to if I broke my leg and I knew I was going to miss the next 6 months if I was going to miss the whole baseball season. What good does it do to keep that from anyone? Why the charade? Why the smoke and mirrors? So the fact that he said maybe he's looking for the fall isn't a bad thing. From what we had heard, could be longer than that, which gets to the real issue, Aslan. They got to go get another one.
Yeah.
They got to. Like this guy, he was probably going to start, right?
I would think so.
He was penciled in. In my mind, he was penciled in to start. The Nebraska transfer and him. Now, if you've lost him, you've definitely lost him for the spring. So you'll get a real good this new coaching staff. This is the beauty of this portal window, however long it lasts and however long this system works the way it works. They'll get a month to look at exactly what the cupboard has at defensive end. They know what they got. They know what they got in their own guy because he transferred from Nebraska. But the other ones, they have no idea. And it might be priority. I already think it is.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to fall in love with one of the younger guys that hasn't accomplished much yet. They see a lot of upside. And they can get it out of them and develop them. That is part of their job description, by the way, everyone. You don't just always get ready-made players. You're allowed to make them better. But if they see that cupboard and it's like, nope, this can't work, we have to go get a dude. If Jenkins either he's not ready at the start of the season, or he's not 100% healthy, or he won't be healthy until week 5 or week 8 or whatever it might be, you've got to go get yourself another edge rusher, in my opinion, or an edge setter, however you want to describe your edge. And I know they play a 3-3-5. It's a lot of 3-down linemen. They absolutely need to go get, in my opinion, another defensive lineman in the portal, which I don't know when that – is it like April 20th? Is the second portal window?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have Diamante Diggs and then Deontay McCray, who came from Western Kentucky, that can play end. But I think there was a different level of.
But they thought this guy. I think they thought this guy was going to be a starter. You don't just lose a starter. It's not like this happened August 20th and you have nothing. You have no recourse. And it's not like this is 2018 and you have no recourse. Yeah. You have the ability now to go get an even better Jayson Jenkins. They're out there. You have to spend more. But they're out there, and it's, if they keep letting this system work like this, there's really no excuse. You're not out of money. Don't tell me you're out of money. You're getting an extra $15 million now. So be happy about that, and go get yourself another defensive lineman. A good one. An all-conference player from somewhere.
By the way, clarification, portal opens April 16th, closes April 25th.
Oh, I was close. All right. Yeah. So, go get yourself a defensive lineman.
And speaking of the portal, forget his name, Ricky. What's my guy Ricky's name? Forget his last name.
Tennessee?
He's apparently, I think it was a negotiation ploy, Corey. Sounds like he's sticking around and not leaving Tennessee. But again, I think, to your point, I think Florida State was already kind of in a somewhat tenuous position when it came to defensive line depth and difference makers. This probably just further exacerbates that. Nonetheless, it's going to be a good weekend, everybody, because you got plans, hopefully, to have fun. And if you don't, well, then go to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, everybody. Live music during the happy hour slot, 5 to 8 p.m. Go check it out. Get some early dinner, late lunch, whatever you want to call it, dinner, some people call it. Play some darts, shoot some pool, drink some ice-cold beverages, and don't forget Saturday, come hang out before the SMU game, after the SMU game, linger around, watch the Lakers and Celtics, perhaps. Keep drumming that. It's kind of cool having
you're all about that game. You're all about that matchup.
I'm back. I'm such a die easy Laker fan. It's like, now I literally sit in my house by myself watching Lakers games and I just giggle whenever Luka hits a 30-foot three-pointer. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. But we did it. We pulled it off somehow. Pull off the great weekend that's out there on the horizon for everybody that lives in the Tallahassee area, the Big Bend area. And if you're driving through town, stop at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website.
Just don't go in the Corner Pocket and say you're there for dinner.
Okay.
They'll kick you out. Yeah. That's not a dinner place, Aslan.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That's not how we roll at CP. Yeah. You eat dinner, you eat lunch. That's what we do. No brunches, no dinners. You're either eating lunch or you're eating dinner.
Gotcha. Flex on the folks out there, people, when you pull out that wallet of yours, and don't have it be just a crumbling mess of cowhide. Have it be a sleek, maybe carbon fiber, maybe aluminum, maybe titanium. All sorts of different options over at Ridge. Try it out. 99-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. So you're not going to need to get another wallet for the rest of your life, everybody. Check it out, ridge.com/wakeup. It's their once-a-year anniversary sale. You can get up to 40% off right now. I think your exact model, Corey, because you went with gunmetal. Yours is 40% off. I'm fancy. I went with Monaco white, which is just like a somewhat off-white color, but I like it nonetheless. So I'm going to keep rocking it. Try it out, everybody. Ridge.com/wakeup. Hoops tomorrow. Leonard's final home game at the Tuck. And we got to speak to him on Thursday, Corey. And, I really wasn't going into it expecting to really ask him any questions about what's it feel like and the emotions behind it, because I felt like that's something he would be like, I don't really want to talk about and focus on the game. And he was really gracious with his time on Thursday and really opened up about how much it's going to mean to him. And he is focused on winning the game and trying to get some good feeling for this team as they head to Charlotte. He did say that there's plenty of opportunity that awaits. He's well aware that there's always like a Cinderella story out there. Maybe they can have that. They all love each other. He feels like they're still trying to play and compete hard. So maybe that can come their way. But what we do know, they're coming far and wide to show their support to Leonard on Saturday. Corey, he said that he's going to have teammates from his days playing at Tennessee Martin. He's going to have people he was on staff with at Kentucky, people who worked for him as a head coach at Miami, and obviously countless dozens of former Florida State players. Solomon Alabi, rather. He's a name that he dropped. He's bringing his whole family from Seattle, Corey.
Oh, that's cool.
To come see Leonard. So I know we said it the other day because we thought it was going to be our last pod of the week, but gosh, I mean, I feel kind of hypocritical because I'm not going to be in town, but if you're in town, man, make it out to the Tucker Center. Show that man some appreciation for making this place have some really good times. Highs and lows, but more highs than lows in his 20 whatever years it's been.
Well, yeah. Again, I don't know why I always feel like I need to qualify this, but I do. It was. There weren't many lows. Like missing the tournament to me, it's a bummer, but it's not a low. Like 2-10 is a low.
Right.
The season he had 2 years ago, when they got really injured, and then they went like 9-2, whatever year it was, where Cleveland beat Miami, right, on that crazy shot.
I think so, yeah.
That was a low. That was like a 9-win team. That was awful. The highs and lows, he had more highs than lows. He had a lot in the middle, is what I was trying to say. But that being said, I don't know why because I don't want people to think that we're sitting here. I don't want people to think I'm talking about one of the great coaches of all time. I like the guy a lot, and he's been a joy to cover. I'm not comparing him to Dean Smith or Coach K. He's not one of the all-time greats. He's been very good, though, and he's had a difficult situation wherever he went. I think it says something about Florida State that he stayed here for as long as he did. Because, look, man, he had it rolling at 2010-ish where he could have taken other jobs. He could have pursued other jobs. And then, obviously, we know what happened with COVID, and then that kind of COVID and NIL kind of killed the program that he had built. But, man, some great moments. Literally, the Louisville game in 2020, the snare shot, all of the snare shots, watching Tony Douglas, Solomon Alabi, who you mentioned, who turned into a really good player. Look, man, just to make it personal for a second, I have a picture. One of my favorite pictures of Brady is when he's a baby and Solomon Alabi is holding him, because I used to take care of Brady during the days while his mom worked. I was working too, but I was at home with him for the first year of his life, and I would go do basketball interviews, and I would bring Brady in the stroller, and the two women in the office would play with him for like 30 minutes and keep him. They were very, very sweet and keep him entertained while I was interviewing Leonard and the players. And then when I was working at the Tallahassee Democrat at the time, and then one of them took a picture when Solomon Alabi was in the office and he was holding Brady, and Brady's just looking up at him like, "Holy cow!" He's huge. And then now Brady's a junior in high school. Yeah. And that's the kind of the long reach I have with this program and with this man, and I just feel so much genuine affection for him. The fact that he never really made it about himself.
Nope.
Sometimes to his detriment, because he wouldn't argue a ton to get teed up and to maybe get his team more calls like some other just crazy folks on the sidelines, but he never did that. He was never ripping his jacket off, kicking chairs, screaming at people, making him the story. Even when they were good, he would never really take the bows. He would always credit the players and how hard they played. And it's just he's a good man that deserves a really nice going away party. And I'm hoping that whatever they do on Saturday is worthy of what he put into this university. It's always hard, but it's a ceremony after the game. Hopefully it's after a win, but even if it's not, I really do hope that it's special for him, and he really enjoys how much the community appreciates what he did for the last 2+ decades.
Well said.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I wonder. I don't know. They can't name the court. I don't know if they would name the court after him anyway. But they can't do that in a post-game ceremony, right? Because how would they keep it hidden during the game?
Yeah. No, they won't.
Just have a patch there where people aren't allowed to you can't shoot threes from there, everyone.
Yeah. Don't
go there. So, but I they just about a month ago, I think Sue Simrau came back and they honored her and hung her name in the rafters. They at least have to do that for Leonard with his win total. I guess we don't know his exact win total yet. He could be about to add 8 more.
Let's go.
He might be 8 more wins to that ledger. But, they should put his name up there really to represent these last 20. I don't know if any of the guys he coached will get their numbers retired. You could argue Trent Forrest.
Yeah, come on.
But I don't know. I mean, Bob Sura was, Dave Cowens, Cassell, Charlie Ward, and Doug Edwards. I think those are the guys that are retired. I love Trent. I don't know if he necessarily belongs up there with that crew, but he was very, very good, especially his last 2 years. But Leonard Hamilton does, and it would be really nice, even if his name isn't on a court somewhere, that he's hanging from the rafters forever in the Tuck, because he's been here for a quarter century and produced a lot of really fun, good, memorable moments for this program.
Corey, does the name Alex Jensen have any familiarity, ring any kind of bells with you?
No.
Okay, it doesn't for me either, but I saw it on the sidebar of the warchant.com on 3 website. Alex Jensen is a Dallas Mavericks assistant coach who has accepted the Utah head coaching job, and by Utah, the Utah Utes, not the Utah Jazz.
Oh, he might have been a player there, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying.
Is he white?
Why got to bring it down to that, man?
It was a joke. He's a Utah basketball player.
I'll shut that. All I know is like Jakob Pertl. I don't know any other Utah basketball
Keith Van
players.
Horn.
Yeah, that's right. KVH. That's
yeah.
right. So Jensen kind of fits into that, if you want to call it like the Sam Cassell mold, although he did not have nearly the playing career that Sam had in the NBA. I don't think, he didn't have an NBA career at all. He played overseas for about 7 years. But
how long has he been? Does it say how long he's been with the Mavericks or been an NBA assistant?
I don't know why I say Maverick. It says Mavs assistant, but on his Wikipedia page it says he's with the Utah Jazz from 2013 to 2023.
Oh, so I was going to say, like, how does he compare to Laux if you're thinking about that other NBA assistant coach? But like I said, Laux, I think Laux has been in the NBA for about 5-ish years, and 3 with the Kings as like a bench coach. So a little different than a guy that's been around for 12 years.
Yeah, let's see here. In 2023, he parted ways with the Jazz and joined the Mavericks as an assistant. So he's been with the Mavs for from 23 up until now. But yeah, he's taken that job. So again, we don't exactly know how the search is going, but I would assume. Actually, I don't know, man. I think they'll probably let the tournament play itself out too. And I'm not even talking about the ACC tournament. Probably the NCAA men's tournament before they make a full hire on this one. I feel like at least I don't
think they have to do that. Why would they have to do that?
Oh no. Yeah, I mean
Miami's hiring their coach away from Duke before
true.
the NCAA tournament even begins. Like Jay Lucas, they officially announced him. He's a Duke assistant. They officially announced him on Thursday, I think, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, as the assistant coach, and they said his final game with Duke will be Saturday against North Carolina. So he's not even going to be with the team for the ACC or the NCAA tournament.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, so he's already getting on the ground running. You kind of have to.
I guess so.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I hope they celebrate Leonard. I want it to be a wonderful celebration. I want people to stick around and come and show support, even if win or lose. It's cool that Andy Enfield, one of his former assistants, is the head coach at SMU now, so he'll be there to take part in it, I assume. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind Monday knowing who the head coach is. Like, don't wait around on this. Like, go ahead and if you got somebody in mind, if you feel like really good about a candidate, hire him and get him on board immediately so he can get to work.
Not quite complete parallel, but apparently their in-state rivals, BYU, pulled away a NBA assistant coach who'd been with the Mavs and the Suns, Kevin Young, and BYU is actually pretty good right now. So maybe that's
maybe that's the NBA assistant is the way of the. I mean, it's they're running colleges are running a lot of NBA concepts. You watch Alabama now, and I know they lost to Florida. By the way, Florida might win the dang national championship.
They look good against Alabama, man.
Really good. But every game Alabama plays is like an NBA game. It's like 100-96. Yeah. Like they shoot a ton of threes and a lot of layups. They speed up the game. They do a lot of pick and roll isolation. Best player in the ball in the best player's hands. And it's become more of an NBA game, and I think maybe that's what colleges are looking at. It's like, man, we don't need the 58-47 games anymore. We need to free these guys up to play basketball and quit squeezing them to death with a bunch of sets and everybody's got to touch the ball 5 times and all that stuff. And I think maybe that's where the college game is going. When you look at the success of Nate Oates at Alabama has done a really good job there. I don't know if he even has an NBA pedigree. But I would think that would be appealing as somebody that can bring some NBA style in X's and O's and schemes into the college game. Because, yeah, man, again, I'm not going to criticize Leonard on this show only to say in 2025 you can't be this bad. 3-point shooting has to be a huge part of your offense. It has to be. And it has not been here for years now, and that's a big reason they lose more than they win in the ACC.
All right, final non-conference weekend of the season for Florida State baseball. They survived Bethune-Cookman on Wednesday, 9-7. I don't know if the final score is indicative of the competitiveness of it, but I mean, they found themselves in that position after allowing like a 3-run homer in the 8th inning or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But they are 13-0 as we sit here and talk as they go into this Lipscomb weekend. I think one of 5 remaining undefeated teams. Don't know how much we're going to find out about the team against Lipscomb here, but it does sound like the first question he was asked during his Thursday press conference link on the Zoom was basically like, with the way BJ's playing, like, are you going to have some discussions with the football folks about like what's going to happen when spring football starts? And he was like, yeah, we're going to have to speak to the football guys and see what's going on. I mean, I don't know what sort of.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of tug of war will ensue or what's going to happen. It does seem like the way that Link really seems to embrace, and I believe Mike Norvell does as well. And he complimented the staff and just how he's like, they're really busy right now, but I'll get to talking to them here soon. But he seems really, gracious about the way they're able to kind of divvy up BJ's time or whatever. But yeah, I mean, Link seems to really embrace. He's like, this is part of. We want to make this place like a glamorous place, Florida State, where you can play 2 sports, and these are the sort of I don't call them issues, but these are the sort of things that will arise, and we have to figure it out. But that's something that he's going to want to attack. On the health front, Chase Williams. I don't know if he's close. Blade and Plain, not close.
Oh,
explicitly, he said. Our guy D. Lamelaire,
sure,
Brody, he is close to returning. And then I did my monthly ask on Cam Leiter.
Oh, okay. What do we get?
And you should go listen to the answer, everybody. Or maybe I can drop it in here. Maybe I won't. But basically, he basically said there's no way he can jump out there and help us out until maybe the end of this thing. So I don't know if that means like regional play or if they have
maybe
to
at the end of the weekend series against Lipscomb.
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe
that's
that.
probably what he was thinking of.
But it was cool because he interjected himself. He's like, he's like, I think about it all the time. You want to know what I think about all the time? And I'm just like, sure, go ahead, Link. And he's like, I think about it all the time. Like, what would have been? He's like, what would have been last year if we would have had him?
Yeah.
And what would we be right now if we had him? And he talked about just how like devastating this has been for Cam. So I think there might have been some feelings out there that he was preserving himself and picking himself over the team, but that is not the case. I felt
like, didn't he try to come back last year?
Yeah.
I thought he tried to come back last year. So no way is that the issue. That kid, and he's back. He's here again. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's the issue at all. It would be awesome if you could get him back. Obviously he wouldn't come back and start games and give you 6 innings, but he could give you 2 innings a weekend. But again, that's speculation, and it's the kind of stuff we were saying last year that never came to be. So let's go ahead and assume he won't be the guy. When it comes to BJ Gibson, I know people would be like, well, what? Obviously, being a starting outfielder on the baseball team is more important than practices in the spring for the football team. True, but remember, he is a football scholarship, and I assume he has NIL football money. So he is kind of more beholden to that practice field because that's kind of why he's on campus. That's who's paying the bill, footing the bill for him to be on campus. At the same time, I do think Norvell cares enough about these other programs on this campus that he would not be like, man, look, I know you got a road series at Miami, but we need BJ to catch about 12 passes in period 3. Right. So, sorry. Go find yourself another outfielder, Link.
Well, the kid too, right? I think like Mike cares about his players too. We're like, this is the best thing for you is to probably maybe focus on baseball right now. That's cool. Like just be back in, July when we get things going back.
Well, or if he can make a practice. But it's not like it shouldn't be the other way around where, hey, if you're done with all your football duties, see if you can make it in time for first pitch. Yeah. No, it should be the other way around. Like, look, if you have time, please come out here. We'd like to see you get better. Our new wide receiver coach wants to see you actually work. But, yeah, I would think and hope that baseball takes precedent right now. Now, if Chase Williams was healthy and Delamalulele was healthy.
Delamalier. I think that's it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That maybe it would be different. But, yeah, man, right now he's your starting left fielder for the foreseeable future. So you kind of need him. That's interesting, though. What a time. What a time for BJ Gibson. And before we go, look, it's just a story that was written in March. But Andrea Adelson wrote a really nice story on Tanaya Latson At Florida State, I think the women, they got the double bye, so I think they play North Carolina tomorrow at like 11 a.m. in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament. I think North Carolina won, so they'll play. Wow, that's a tough opening match. North Carolina's like, I say match. What are we, a soccer podcast? I think that I think North Carolina's like top 15 in the country. That seems like a tough quarterfinal match, and it's of course a home game for them. But she wrote a story about Tanai Latson where Tanai Latson said she's in no rush to go to the NBA. She wants to come back and finish the greatness
WNBA.
she started at Florida State. WNBA or NBA. She's not in a rush for either.
Right.
But she wants to come back and finish what she started at Florida State for her senior year.
That's incredible. That's a huge win.
That's great. It's great. It's huge news. If it's, and again, we'll see. She hasn't, hopefully she's steadfast in that because they're, she's on the open market. Everyone, she's a free agent, but she's still here. Let's hope she remains here. And here's the I don't know. It's easy for me to say because it's not my money, but here's the mission for the people that fund Florida State basketball. She's losing her two best teammates. Gordon and Timpson are both seniors, so this is their last year. Tanai Latson is too good to not have great players around her.
To get the Jameer Watkins treatment?
Exactly. You don't if you just go get her some McDonald's All-Americans, former McDonald's All-Americans, go get her some all-conference players from other schools. And give her one last chance, because a lot of the gist of the story by Adelson is how she's kind of an unknown, even though she's the leading scorer in the country in the ACC. It's not like she's in the Sun Belt; she's in the ACC, winning at Notre Dame, playing NC State and Louisville and teams like this. She's in a really big conference. She leads the nation in scoring, and nobody talks about her. Well, that's because her team doesn't win at the clip that the people that get talked about. Their team's wins. Juju Watkins, her team's going to be a 1 seed out at USC. So go get her some players, man. One last run at this thing. She's good enough to lead you to a Final Four. This program has never been to a Final Four. They've been really close. They lost to South Carolina in an Elite Eight, I would say about 10 years ago, by a few points, which is a really hotly contested game, really fun game to cover, actually. But they've never been to a Final Four. Get her some pieces around her that can work off her, some shooters, because she's going to draw a lot of attention, a rim protector, and go get an all-star team for Tanai Latson. I say that not at the expense of that defensive lineman I was talking about earlier. We still got to have our priorities, money folk, but try to help out Tanai as much as you can.
Oh man, yeah. On the way out, how's your quads holding up, Corey? Everything all right?
Yeah, so Stephanie got a laugh at that. If people aren't on Twitter, Aslan tweeted it because he had it on video of me breaking that chair.
Did I, or did our intrepid producer for Wake Up Warchant tweet it out?
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry. Did you retweet it then? I thought I saw it from your account.
Yeah,
Maybe I did.
Yeah, it's okay. I did all that.
But yeah, I think what people don't understand is it's not me like steadying myself on a sort of broken chair. The chair kind of falls out from under me, and I just cat-like get my feet down and flex those quads and get in like a 3-point stance to keep from falling. It's really one of the most impressive athletic feats I've ever accomplished. Because most people, all you would have seen were their feet going up out of the screen as their head hit the back of the wall. Their back of the head hit the wall.
Not Corey Clark, though, everybody.
Nope. You saw it. You saw what Brady was blessed with.
That's right.
Just instincts and athleticism.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Don't forget, again, 3 o'clock, Florida State hosting SMU, Leonard's final home game.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. I apologize. 4 o'clock. Weekend slate against Lipscomb. I think softball, they're out on the West Coast, I think, right? Are they playing?
Yeah, I got 4 games against the Oregon schools.
Yeah, so we'll be busy. We should be back on Monday. I'll be down home in town. Can I ask you a question real quick, Corey? I'm going home this weekend, and I'm bringing my lady with me.
Yeah. Oh, to meet the family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Has this ever happened?
No, never in the history of Aslan Hajavandi.
It hasn't, right? This is a first. Oh,
first
boy.
time.
All right, man.
All right, so we're going to pick up my mother to go to lunch. And then we're going to meet my brother and his girlfriend out there.
Lunch or dinner?
Lunch.
Okay,
lunch.
Good. All right.
Lunch. Do I have Abby sit in the back seat and put my mom in shotgun, or do I, like when you hung out, like your mom and Shanna for the first time? Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is not a question. Was your mom going to be rolling around the bed? No, of course your mom sits up front.
Okay. So just want to make sure.
But what's a good move? I tell you this.
I haven't asked Abby. I know maybe she'd be like, absolutely, I'm sitting in the backseat. There's no way I would think of. So I
assume she would, but also I think it's a good move for her to like open the door for her. To like, are you picking her up or like going inside or?
Yeah, no, we're picking her up. Yeah, we're going to go to my mom's house, pick her up, and then go to the lunch place.
Because if she was just meeting you in the driveway, it'd be a really boss move for Abby, who's sitting in the front seat, to hop out, keep the door open, and go sit in the back seat.
Oh, all right.
It shows respect. It's a sign of respect, which is earned and due. And so I think you definitely don't make your mom sit in the back seat.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Sorry. Just want to make sure. Want to make sure. All right, that's a wrap for us.
I'm glad I could be here for you. Any other questions?
We'll try to drop a show Monday, but I'm going to be back home. But I'm sure we'll rally around and get this all figured out. Shout out to all of our sponsors, vitaminenergy.com, our great friends over at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com, the website. And again, 40% off over at ridge.com/wakeup. And if you do order it, they're going to ask you like where you heard about it from, and let them know Wake Up. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening to another week of Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shaking and taking.